Welcome to the NSIC Spotlight, the voice of the NSIC student athletes, powered by gpac. gpac, growing people and companies. I'm your host, Nick Cornder, Assistant Commissioner at the Northern Sun. Today, we're joined by Sam Masten of the Northern State men's basketball team. Sam, thanks for joining us on the Spotlight.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Nick. This will be fun.
All right, let's get started like we do every week with you telling us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I am a fifth-year senior here at Northern State University. Growing up originally from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, which is about 20 minutes south outside of Denver. I'm majoring in sport marketing and management, and I'm set to graduate this upcoming spring. So,
outstanding. Post high school, you played 3 years at Northern Colorado. Give us your journey from playing at UNC and how you ended up at Northern State.
Yeah, so coming out of high school, I was fortunate. I had a couple scholarship offers to, kind of play at various places around the country. And I think coming out of high school, I was pretty committed to UNC just based on the fact that it was close to home. I was comfortable with the staff, and I knew a couple of guys that were also going there from like AAU and stuff like that. So at the time, it felt like, a really good fit for me. And I went there, played 3 years. My last year was the COVID year, so kind of was a little bit different of a year. But overall, love my time there. Met a lot of really good people. I was fortunate. I got to be a part of some really good teams and kind of just experience some really good, really good culture and really good program, which I think helped me a lot down the line. And then kind of once the COVID year hit, after talking with my family, I kind of just felt like, with 2 extra years left, I kind of wanted to just see something else, kind of take advantage of the fact that I have 2 more years as compared to 1. And so I put my name in the portal. In my last year at Northern State, Northern Colorado, I didn't have a great year statistically. So I hardly heard from any Division I schools, and then a couple Division II schools, a couple like RMAC schools back in Colorado. But then I was fortunate. I heard from Northern State. I actually had a buddy who I played with at UNC, a kid named Cole Bergen, who he was at Northern State at the time. And so then when I was in the portal, he had, kind of reached out to me and explained kind of their situation with losing a lot of guys off a former conference championship team. And so I got in touch with the coaching staff. And then from the rest is history from there. It just felt like a really good fit for me. And looking back on it, it was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. So.
Yeah, so statistically, you're doing quite well as you rank in the top 10 in scoring and rebounding in the NSIC, but you also lead the league in assists with nearly 7 per game. How would you describe your style of play?
Yeah, I think I'm just a very aggressive, playmaking guard. I kind of one of those people where like some nights, my coaches and teammates will need me to go score a lot. And other nights, they'll need me to set guys up. And so just kind of trying to be, aggressive and making plays kind of for myself or for others is how I would basically describe my game.
We mentioned you lead the league in assists. Talk about those teammates you're distributing the ball to.
Yeah, you can't get an assist if the teammate doesn't make the shot, and so I'm fortunate, man. I play with some really, really talented players, guys like Jordan Belka, Jack Simone, Gus Reedy, Josh Dilling. I could go on and on, but, guys that, a lot of them are really talented shooters, and so for me, it's like, it makes my job easier because I almost have to just draw the defense in 1 or 2 steps and just give those guys enough room to get the shot off. And, they're really easy to play with, and I know they have a lot of confidence in me too. And so that helps me in knowing that, when I go out and make a play, if I throw them the ball, they're going to make the shot. And so I think it kind of just, it's just as much testament to them as it is to me. And so I'm really thankful I get to play with those guys for sure.
You and the Wolves are off to a 15-5 start, 11-3 in the NSIC. Picked up a pair of home wins last week, and you crushed Minnesota State 104-87. How would you describe that atmosphere for a men's basketball game there in Aberdeen?
It's very, very special. It's one of a kind. I always tell people, playing Division I for 3 years, I could maybe name 4 or 5 outside of the Power 5 schools, maybe 4 or 5 arenas that even come close to having an atmosphere that Northern State has. And basketball is a huge thing here. It's a big tradition. And so when you come into a game, it's going to be loud. There's going to be a lot of people there, and it's just a really cool venue to see a game. And so I always encourage people, like, if you've never heard of Northern State or if they've never been into South Dakota, to come up to Aberdeen and check out a game, because really, like, I was blown away for my first game, and on a nightly basis, whenever we play at home, like, I'm still, shocked at how many people come out and support us consistently. And it really is a special thing. So I'm really glad I get to be a part of that.
Yeah, definitely love their basketball in Aberdeen. Some legendary coaches out there. Your head coach, Saul Phillips, has been at the helm of the Wolves for the last 4 years. What's it like to play for him?
Yeah, Coach Saul is he's definitely a character. He's a really good guy. He's really easygoing. But I think what Coach does an unbelievable job of is reminding us as players that basketball, still is a game. We don't have to take it seriously all the time. He holds us accountable and challenges us. But when, things get tough and we, find ourselves losing or going a little bit of a losing streak, he kind of just reels us back in and reminds us that, it is still a game, and like, the sky's not falling. And I think as players, that kind of gives us confidence to go out there and perform the next night. And so I think he does a really good job of allowing us to just kind of play free and loose and confidently.
Yeah, if we go back 2 weekends, the Wolves dropped a pair of road contests at Sioux Falls and SMSU. As we mentioned, you followed that up with that huge win against Minnesota State. What contributed to that quick turnaround to get back on track?
Yeah, I think for us, after the Southwest Sioux Falls weekend, we had such a crazy schedule with cancellations prior to Christmas time and things like that. We were all just kind of, a little tired, and we just needed a reset. And so to have a full week to prepare and come back home, and I think Coach did a great job of being like, you know what, there's nothing we can do about the past weekend, so kind of just flush it clean and come out and just focus on the future. We still got a lot of games to win and a lot of season left. And I think everybody did a good job of kind of just resetting and turning the page and being locked in for Minnesota State when they came to town. So.
Yeah, we got 8 games left, 4 weekends. This coming weekend, you travel to Winona State and Upper Iowa. Talk what it's like to play in the NSIC.
It's a great league. It's a really good league. There's a lot of really good teams, a lot of good coaches. Some tough travel. I've never been to Upper Iowa or Winona, so this will be my first. This is the last trip in the league I've never actually done, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, you go to a lot of cool venues and a lot of historic venues, and I think you just know every night, whether you're playing at home or on the road, like you're going to play a really good team. And so I think that kind of makes it fun in a sense, and it makes it, as a competitor, you look forward to that.
Now, come game day, any special routines you follow when you're getting ready to compete?
Not really. At this stage in my career, I've been playing basketball for so long. I'm one of those people where I get pretty hyped up to play. I get pretty amped up. And so I try almost to not think about the game as much as possible. So I'll kind of find ways to distract myself, whether it be, going out and grabbing breakfast with, a teammate or a manager or something like that, or just little things like that to kind of try and get my mind off things, I'd say.
All right, final question for you. What advice would you give to a young player to help them in their development?
I think, the biggest thing for me going through from my high school and through my college career is like the biggest thing is never truly underestimate believing in yourself and what self-belief can do for you. I think the more and more I look back on it, there was times where I did have, maybe question my belief in myself as a player and things like that. And I think, when you truly trust yourself in that, it really is amazing what you can accomplish. So I'm a big ambassador for self-belief. And so just never stop believing in yourself and your abilities and what you can do out there. So.
All right, believing in yourself. Great advice from Sam Masten. Reminder, all fans, that all NSIC basketball contests are aired live and free on the NSIC network. Check out northernsun.org for more information and all things NSIC. That's going to wrap up this week's show. Thanks again to our sponsor, gpac. Sam, thanks for joining us. Best of luck to you and the Wolves the rest of the season.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Thanks for having me on.